So you want to stop living paycheck to paycheck? You want to build real, actual wealth that lasts? Good. Then this is the action plan for you. We are going to break down the 7 silent habits that sabotage most people's financial future, and I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide to make sure you avoid them. All right, let's get into it. You know this right here? This was probably the single best piece of advice my mentor ever gave me. It completely flipped the way I thought about my career, about my money, and honestly, it's the foundation for everything we're about to cover today. I mean it, I started with absolutely nothing, but I figured out how to become a multimillionaire, and a huge part of that was learning about these traps early on. So for the next few minutes, think of me as your mentor. I'm going to walk you through the exact same lessons that changed my life.
Okay, this is it. This is the first, and I'd argue, the most critical decision you're going to make in your career. Seriously, the path you choose right at the very beginning, it pretty much sets the stage for everything that follows. So, let's make sure we get this right.
Let me break this down for you. You've got 2 paths. Path A is all about chasing the paycheck. Path B, that's about chasing skills. Now, when I left school at 16, I picked Path B. I became a carpenter's apprentice. The pay? It was not great. My friends were definitely making more money than me, and they let me know it. But I knew that the skills I was learning, they were priceless. A high-income skill makes it almost impossible for you to ever be broke again. Why? Because you become your own greatest asset.
So, once you've chosen your path, and I hope it's the path of building skills, not just chasing cash, the very next step is to watch out for these 7 silent wealth killers. These are those tricky, everyday habits that will drain your bank account and kill your progress without you even realizing it's happening.
Just think about what most people do on payday. The money comes in, they pay the rent, the bills, maybe go out for a nice dinner, and then they see if there's anything left over to save. This is such a classic mistake. Saving becomes this little optional thing at the end of the month, and let's be honest, there's almost never any money left. So here's the fix. It's simple. You just flip the script. You have to pay yourself first. The second your salary hits your bank account, you have an automatic transfer set up to move a percentage, say 10%, straight into your savings or investment account. Treat this transfer like it's your most important bill, because when it comes to your future, it absolutely is. Oh man, this next trap, it is so tempting. Especially for things like a new phone, new clothes, maybe even a vacation. These buy now, pay later services, they make it incredibly easy to get stuff you can't actually afford. But you've got to remember, these companies are not your friends. Their entire business model is literally built on the hope that you'll mess up.
And this is the hidden cost. This is where they get you. If you miss just one payment, the interest rates can absolutely skyrocket, sometimes as high as 30%, and that's not even counting the late fees. It's a massive debt trap, and it's disguised as convenience. The fix here is so simple. Just use a debit card. If you can't afford it today, you save up for it, period.
Have you ever noticed this? Someone gets a raise or a nice bonus, and almost immediately their spending jumps up to match it. I've seen it 100 times. Colleagues get their annual bonus, and the first thing they do is start shopping online for a new watch or a pair of expensive shoes. They're making more money than ever before. But guess what? They're still broke at the end of the month.
To beat this, you have to be intentional about it. You have to consciously break that cycle. By all means, let your standard of living improve. You've earned it. But do it at a slower pace than your income is rising. If you were saving 10% before your raise, you keep saving at least 10% after. This simple trick creates a gap between what you earn and what you spend. And that gap, that's where wealth is built.
Wow, social media has made this trap 1,000 times harder, hasn't it? You're just scrolling, you see a friend on some luxury vacation, or your neighbor posts a picture of their brand new car, and boom, suddenly you feel like you're falling behind. But trying to keep up by comparing your real life to someone else's highlight reel, that is a game you will never, ever win. Envy is just a never-ending cycle that leads to unhappiness and really bad financial decisions.
And this quote just says it all. I had a buddy who, on the surface, looked like he was crushing it. Designer clothes, super expensive watch, the whole deal. Well, one day I found out he had exactly $43.20 in his bank account and a mountain of credit card debt. Meanwhile, I was quietly taking my money and putting it into investments. You have to remember, true wealth isn't the flashy stuff you buy to impress people. It's the assets you own that are quietly growing for you behind the scenes.
Okay, this next trap is all about ego. The kind of person who thinks they already know everything. But here's the real problem with that mindset. It completely blinds you to the opportunities that could genuinely change your entire life. Think of your knowledge like an iceberg. The stuff you know, that's just the tiny little tip you can see above the water. Arrogance makes you forget about that massive, giant chunk of knowledge that's still under the surface, just waiting for you to discover it. When things go wrong, it's so easy to grab the magnifying glass, right? To focus on what everyone else did wrong. Oh, the system is rigged, or my boss just doesn't like me. But truly successful people, they pick up the mirror instead. They look at themselves and focus on what they can actually control, their own actions, their own choices. Taking 100% responsibility for your life, that's the halfway point to success right there.
Your comfort zone, it's like a self-imposed prison. It feels safe in there, but there is absolutely no way to grow. Every single big step I've taken in my life, from taking that first scary apprenticeship to starting my own business, even starting a YouTube channel at 53, was terrifying. But every single time I stepped outside that zone, my world and my potential got a little bit bigger.
All right, so theory is great, but it's action that actually creates wealth. So I'm giving you an assignment. Think of it as a practical tool you can use every single week to make sure you stay on the right track.
Here's what I want you to do. Every Sunday, I want you to pull this checklist out. Go through each one of these wealth-killing habits and be brutally honest with yourself. Did I do this week? Yes or no? If you did, no worries, the fix is written right there next to it. Look, this isn't about being perfect. Nobody is. It's about being aware and making constant small improvements.
So why do we do all this? Really, what's the point? Why make these sacrifices and stay so disciplined? Because it's not just about piling up a bunch of money in a bank account. It's about what that money can actually buy you.
And this, right here, is the end game. This is the whole point. True wealth is about using your money to buy freedom in the three most important areas of life. The freedom to spend real time with your family, the freedom to take care of your physical and mental health, and the freedom to chase the things you are truly passionate about. That's what it's all for.
You know, none of the ideas we've talked about today are complicated. In fact, they're all incredibly simple. But as the legendary investor Charlie Munger once said, the real key is to take these simple ideas and take them seriously. If you can do that, you almost can't help but become wealthy in the process.